and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship.
There's another, yes, I said another domestic abuse allegation against Gervonta Davis, and that may either destroy, postpone, change the entire event.
And I am seeing reports online that Jake Paul might be fighting Francis Ngannou, which is just absolutely bloody ridiculous.
When he got up, he undid his pants and grabbed my face and started fucking my face. I would like to say that I have only given oral sex to like 2 or 3 people before this, because that's really special to me.
The highly anticipated Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis showdown might be in serious danger. Just 2 weeks before the fight, shocking allegations have surfaced that could derail one of the biggest boxing events Netflix has ever lined up.
Breaking news. Jake Paul is looking for a replacement for Gervonta Tank Davis for their fight on Friday, November 14th, because I'm not sure if you guys know Gervonta Tank Davis and the DV allegations. It was just yesterday as breaking news for Gervonta and the situation. But from my understanding, it's a civil suit. It probably could turn into worse. A woman who is a waitress at a club.
Gervonta Davis, the WBA lightweight champion, has been hit with a bombshell lawsuit from his ex-girlfriend, and the details are nothing short of disturbing. Fans are now questioning whether the scandal could actually put the entire fight in jeopardy.
So, I don't know all the details. You guys check the details, but Jake Paul is looking for a replacement for Gervonta Tank Davis, man, and I get it, okay, because it's stuff you don't mess with. Gervonta is a repeat offender of this, or at least with allegations. It's not canceled quite yet, all right, but Jake Paul is looking for a replacement, and that's the latest news. Damn.
According to reports, on October 30th, a lawsuit was filed in Miami-Dade County by Davis's former girlfriend, Courtney Russell. The suit accuses Davis of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and the intentional infliction of emotional distress. These are not small claims. They paint a dark picture of repeated violence and threats over several months. Russell, who worked as a VIP cocktail waitress at a popular Miami gentlemen's club called Tootsie's, claims that the most recent attack happened on October 27th.
Baltimore boxing champion Gervonta Tank Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Russell says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Russell claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub. Davis is scheduled to fight Jake Paul in Miami on November 14th.
She alleges that Davis stormed into her workplace around 4:15 in the morning, furious and violent, and began attacking her in front of her other employees. According to the documents, Davis allegedly choked her, grabbed her, and dragged her through multiple areas of the club, from the kitchen to a stairwell and all the way back to the exit, before beating her again in the parking garage. The level of aggression described in the lawsuit has left fans shocked, especially considering that Davis has faced similar accusations in the past.
Turns out no guy may get paid, or Gervonta Davis might be kicked off the card because we have a new, not champion, a new domestic violence abuse allegation against Gervonta Davis. There's been a lot of allegations against Tank, and some of those have been dropped, others have not really been pursued, and you don't really know what's what behind the scenes with people, but when things like this happen over and over, I think this is his 4th or maybe 5th allegation of domestic abuse, you kind of start to have to look at the person that's being accused of such and go, why do you keep ending up in these situations?
Russell also claims that she and Davis had been privately dating for 5 months, during which time he allegedly became more controlling and abusive. The lawsuit details multiple occasions where Davis supposedly choked and beat her, along with making threats to end her life. One of the most alarming incidents reportedly took place on September 2nd, when Russell says Davis threatened to kill her simply for not responding to his calls and texts. She adds that on September 23rd, he once again threatened her, this time by sending her the chilling text message, "I'll kill you."
Getting the actual criminal punishment that Tank deserves for, if the domestic abuse allegations are true, I know there's been allegations and criminal allegations in the past that haven't necessarily worked out or whatever the case is, but this one is a civil lawsuit. So not a criminal charge we're talking about here, but a civil lawsuit. And according to the lawsuit acquired by ESPN, Davis is accused by ex-girlfriend Courtney Rosal of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Now, kidnapping, aggravated battery, false imprisonment.
Later that same day, she claims Davis confronted her at a restaurant in Miami called Playa and physically assaulted her in public. Witnesses at the restaurant were reportedly horrified by what they saw. Then, in late October, the violence allegedly escalated once again. Just an hour after the incident at Tootsie's, Russell says Davis texted her, writing, "I'm on my way. Yo, ya house." She believes he was heading to her home to attack her again and says she has been living in constant fear since then.
Were not immediately returned to ESPN, so they have filed a report which would be, escalated to potentially, if evidence was found by Miami Gardens Police Department, that would probably be elevated to potential investigation of the said aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping. So they've not only filed this civil suit, but they also are pursuing criminal investigation at least, and that's up to the police department. So I guess we'll see there. According to the complaint, now here's where it gets brutal. Here's where I look at this entire thing, because I've read this lawsuit, or at least part of it, to know that it gets really, really ugly here. And this is where I say that this isn't just a happenstance thing.
In the lawsuit, Russell describes herself as suffering from severe PTSD as a result of the ongoing abuse. She says she lives in fear for her safety every single day and has been receiving medical care and therapy to deal with both the physical and psychological trauma. Her legal team is now seeking over $50,000 in damages to help with medical treatment, therapy, and basic daily living assistance, as she claims she's unable to function normally after what she endured.
As we read here, this lawsuit comes 2 months after Davis's previous domestic violence case was dropped by an ex-girlfriend and mother of 2 of the boxer's 3 children. So this is 2 months after another allegation was dropped, so there wasn't any charge or anything there, but Tank seems to find himself in these situations, or, be the perpetrator potentially in some of these situations over and over and over. And as much as I love Tank as a boxer, as much as I think he's one of the most talented boxers, one of the most skilled guys in the sport itself, he is a massive, massive screw up. I mean, unbelievably a massive screw up for the guy with his amount of talent, with his amount of popularity and eyeballs that drift to him in this sport, a true potential star in this sport, to have these types of issues over and over.
As the story spread across social media, Gervonta Davis's camp was quick to respond. His longtime coach, Calvin Ford, told reporters that the team is surprised by the lawsuit and that Davis is currently doing fine. Ford said they're still trying to figure out what's going on, but from their side, everything seems calm. Calvin Ford told USA Today, "He's doing great, everything's good, that's why we're trying to find out what's going on." Meanwhile, Jake Paul's promotion company, Most Valuable Promotions, immediately stepped in after learning about the lawsuit. MVP confirmed that they have already launched an internal investigation into the matter. The official statement reads, "Most Valuable Promotions immediately initiated an investigation upon learning of the civil lawsuit filed against Gervonta Davis in Miami-Dade County on October 30th, 2025. At this time, we're gathering information and reviewing the details to ensure any decision we make is thoroughly vetted. We unequivocally condemn any form of violence and are committed to handling this matter with diligence and respect for all involved. We will make a determination on next steps once we have completed our review and consulted with the appropriate parties. Until then, we will not be commenting further." This means that for now, Gervonta Davis's participation in the Netflix event remains uncertain. With the investigation underway, fans are now wondering if the fight could be cancelled or postponed altogether.
And I am seeing reports online that Jake Paul might be fighting Francis Ngannou, which is just absolutely bloody ridiculous. If you know the situation, it was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I'm giving my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled the plug on that fight. It says, here's a tweet I'm reading from Mike Coppinger.
And here's the thing, For Jake Paul, this isn't unfamiliar territory either because he's no stranger to controversy himself. Back in 2021, the YouTube star turned boxer was also accused of misconduct by 2 different women. Although those accusations didn't stop his career, they did leave a lasting shadow on his image. Now, ironically, his opponent is facing similar allegations that could affect one of the biggest fights of his own career, but let us listen to what Justin Paradise said about Jake Paul years ago.
When he got up, he undid his pants and grabbed my face and started fucking my face. I would like to say that I have only given oral sex to like 2 or 3 people before this, because that's really special to me. Honestly, more so than like penis vagina sex, because it's different with penis vagina sex. Mostly that's just like the only sense that's going into that is touch, you know? But when it's going in your mouth, that's touch, that's taste, that's smell, that's like, it's all in your face.
Moving on, sources close to the situation have revealed that Jake Paul's team is already preparing for multiple outcomes. If Davis is pulled from the event, Paul's team reportedly discusses a possible replacement to keep the fight card alive. One of the top names that came up was Ryan Garcia, one of the sport's biggest young stars. According to reports, MVP reached out to Ryan Garcia's camp to see if he would be willing to step in on short notice should Davis be unable to fight. That would have been a massive fight, Paul versus Garcia on Netflix, but the idea was quickly shut down.
As reported, Jake Paul's return could shift to December, with the November 14th Netflix exhibition in jeopardy due to the latest allegations against Gervonta Davis. Sources tell Ring Magazine that December 12th and the 19th are possibilities, right? And here are the potential opponents: Nate Diaz or Francis Ngannou. Now listen, we know that Jake Paul has been out there and he's typically taking on people that are way older than him, like Mike Tyson, who's 58, Anderson Silva, who was way past his prime, people like Nate Diaz, who were way smaller. Gervonta Davis really did take the piss. I mean, that was just the craziest shout ever.
Oscar De La Hoya, who promotes Ryan Garcia under Golden Boy Promotions, dismissed the possibility of that matchup almost immediately. De La Hoya explained that it's simply impossible due to contractual and broadcast conflicts. Garcia fights exclusively for DAZN under Golden Boy Promotions, while Jake Paul fights on Netflix under MVP. That difference alone makes the fight legally impossible. De La Hoya said that even though the rumors have been flying, the reality is that business rules and existing contracts don't allow Garcia to jump networks or promotions that easily.
What's up, guys? Happy Saturday. So I wake up to calls from reporters asking me about Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia. Let me just tell you why this fight is not going to happen. Ryan Garcia fights for DAZN, and Jake Paul fights on Netflix. I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. Golden Boy has a contract with DAZN. Ryan Garcia has a contract with Golden Boy. And that's just the way it is. I mean, this is business. You know, Ryan Garcia's probably going to go on a rant saying, oh, you're keeping me from making money and this and that and fighting. No, you have to go by the law, by the rules. You have a contract with DAZN. You have a contract with Golden Boy. It just doesn't happen that way, so.
De La Hoya went on to say that he's been getting calls from reporters asking about Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia, but that he wanted to clear things up once and for all. According to him, Ryan Garcia is not fighting Jake Paul, and that's final. He explained that Garcia has a contract with Golden Boy, and Golden Boy has a deal with DAZN, meaning that all of Garcia's fights must go through them. It's not about keeping Garcia from making money, it's simply how the business works. De La Hoya also mentioned that Garcia's next opponent will be announced by Golden Boy directly, following their own promotional schedule.
You know, and I respect actually Jake Paul when he takes boxing serious. I respect the fact that Jake Paul, you know, he's doing what he's doing and, you know, with his promotion company. But look, my only thing is things happen for a reason, okay? Things happen for a reason. And this fight fell off for a reason. It's not a good look for him. But if Jake Paul wants to be a real fighter, then take on real fights. Take on contenders, take on top 10, take on fighters who are young, fighters who are ranked in our boxing system.
While all of this unfolds, the boxing world is in total suspense. Fans who were hyped about seeing Jake Paul step into the ring with a powerhouse like Gervonta Davis are now watching the story unfold like a legal drama. Social media is buzzing with mixed reactions. Some people believe Davis should be suspended immediately pending the investigation, while others argue that he deserves due process and a fair chance to respond to the claims.
That's the way you do it, Jake, you know? So I'm not dissing you, I'm not saying anything bad. I respect you because you love boxing, and anybody who loves boxing.
As of now, neither Davis nor his lawyers have made a detailed public statement addressing the allegations. His coach maintains that Davis is doing great, but the silence from Davis himself has fueled even more speculation. It's unclear whether the Netflix event will proceed as planned, or whether Jake Paul's next fight could be delayed or completely rebooked. What's certain is that the outcome of this lawsuit will have a major impact on both fighters' careers and reputations.
I just don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. Nate Diaz, yeah, 100%. I mean, he beat him once already. I'm sure Nate Diaz would love to get another big payday, because obviously boxing on Netflix and going up against Jake Paul, given his success, given the name that he has, and given the magnitude of his events, Nate Diaz will get paid an absolute fortune once again. We know that it wasn't too long ago Jake Paul was talking about boxing Anthony Joshua, and that never came to fruition. There's absolutely no way he would box Anthony Joshua. If he did, if he was to do something like that, whether it be Anthony Joshua or Francis Ngannou.
So, this is all from us today. This is Ring Rivalry, your home for every twist, turn, and controversy shaking the fight world. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines and catch every update on this developing story, make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment with your thoughts on this wild situation, and turn on notifications because this fight saga is just heating up.